Let's queer up health. In the queer American history, in 1984, U.S. company Abbott creates the first HIV test. Abbott Laboratories, a U.S. healthcare company, played a significant role in the development of HIV testing technology. However, it was not until 1984 that they created the first HIV test. It started in 1983 when the human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, was identified as the cause of acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS. This discovery was made by researchers at the Pasteur Institute in France and the National Cancer Institute in the United States. In 1984, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, licensed the first commercially available blood test to detect HIV antibodies. This test, known as the enzyme immunoassay, EIA, was developed by Dr. Robert Gallo and his team at the National Institute of Health, NIH, in collaboration with Abbott Laboratories. These tests were vital in detecting and reducing the number of new cases of HIV during the peak of AIDS epidemic of the 80s. Wow, this is so significant and so powerful. It's just really, it makes me feel good inside that people cared this much to, put a stop to this and figure something out, especially for our community, even though it wasn't just our community that was privy to HIV
being
or
affected,
AIDS.
Right. Well, I'm certainly grateful for historical advances such as this one. It's also a reminder that the pharmaceutical industry has gotten very rich.
Yeah.
Very rich in the backs of the gay community. And
off sickness, right? Like that is like not cures.
No.
But like
maintenance.
Right.
Because if you cure something, you won't make any money.
Just like the Sacklers and OxyContin,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
This
And,
is
it was a lot of intentional too. Like it took that long was very intentional.
Yeah.
And fun fact, Anthony Fauci was in the NIH during that time. That guy has been around for a long time.
Oh my God.
He's seen a lot of pandemics. And
Jesus.
I wrote this down. Test regularly, okay? We still have HIV/AIDS.
Yeah.
Test regularly.
100%.
I still test, not as often because nobody's chasing after me, but I still test. It was important for me to test. My late husband was HIV positive 24 years at the time of his death, and he was concerned about passing me the virus. So we were really thinking careful, but it's like, all it takes is once, test. The sooner.
And I remember in high school, when I remember in 9th grade, I learned that you can get the virus and it will not detect for up to 6 months, sometimes longer. And that is, a solid memory that I won't forget, core memory that stuck with me and made me almost a hypochondriac when it came to STDs, which a lot of them aren't detected right away, So like you said, definitely test often, even if you're not sexually active. Just give yourself the peace of mind and have enough respect for, your future partners.
Yeah. And understand also that now the science has developed and you can live a long and healthy life with HIV. There are treatments available where you can go undetectable.
That undetectable means untransmissible, and
there's something might be coming soon, HIV vaccine I've heard about.
I've heard
or
a little bit
did they
about
approve it
that.
recently? I think that was one of the.
Think about what this meant for people, right? In the 80s, for to suddenly to not have it felt like a game of Russian roulette, or something, right? Like you just didn't know what was happening.
Watching
right?
your friends
This
dying
was a
left and-
transformative moment for people to have, because knowledge is power, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Here's
this is the part the government didn't want.
Here's something else coming down the pike. I forget which anti-cancer drug it is, but they're finding it can kickstart the immune system to,
I saw that.
I want to say it's Keytruda, but don't quote me. But it's like, these things are coming down the pike. So,
and I'm very positive here. So do what you got to do. Just be responsible, get tested, and
absolutely,
there are medications out there for you if something happens. Things happen.
Lots of approaches and lots of.
We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ+ community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.